wrong with you?
Is that any way to treat a wizard?
You're not a wizard, you're a 26-year-old man in a dressing gown.
I am 24. I am timeless.
Were you up all night doing this wizard nonsense?
No, I also paid the bills.
Really?
Yes. With magic. The landlord was persuaded.
That's a Jedi thing.
I am a wizard.
No, you're not. It's too early for this. I'm not. Go away.
Go away. Are you challenging me?
No, I'm not challenging.
A wizard duel is called for.
I'm not interested in wizards.
Are you going to quit? Are you going to quit a wizard duel?
I'm not quitting. I'm not quitting.
Choose your weapon! Choose it! Really?
Yeah, well, you picked that.
This is Wiz-War.
What? War?
Wiz-War!
What?
Would you go and do your game?
What?
Wiz-War is a thaumaturgical thunderdome. Up to 4 players may enter the Wiz arena. Only one of you will emerge victorious. This is a game of being balls deep in fireballs, a game of petty grudges. Look, modular board. You just score 2 points. You gain 1 point for each piece of treasure you drag from your opponent's sector back to yours. You also gain 1 point for every wizard that you kill. Dragging treasure back to your space is a pain, it's slow, and even if you do succeed, another wizard can drag that treasure away from you again, losing you the point. Killing wizards is a much faster way to win the game, same as jumping off a building is the fastest way to get to ground level. Anyway, this is Wiz-War. This colourful carnage, this is what I've got. The first edition of Wiz-War actually came out in 1983, and this is the 8th edition, which should tell you a bit about how popular this game is.
Epic Spell Wars of the Battle Wizards Duel at Mount Skull's Fire. Epic Spell Wars, as I shall henceforth be calling it from now on, is a game about wizards dueling. It's also small enough to fit under a wizard's hat.
Magic!
Now, as seems to be the case with all wizard duels, the first wizard to 2 points is the wizard winner. And you become the wizard winner in Epic Spell Wars by being the last wizard standing at the end of a wizard round. If you want a quiet wizarding life, you should do something safer, like licking the live rail on a metro. Epic Spell Wizards it's how wizard combat should be. It's like a bolt of magical lightning. It's quick and bright and precise and deadly.
But Wiz-War is a whole box of fun, literally. Look, you've got miniatures, you've got these awesome health counters, you've got a bush's worth of wooden tokens, and look, you've got this huge deck of spells.
Well, no, hang on, look, this is a deck of spells, and Epic Spell Wars has
bigger. Look.
Mount Skullfire.
The spells in Wiz-War are just popcorn kernels waiting to pop on the hot plate of the board. Look here, look. We've got spells that let you absorb other spells. We've got astral projection and a might stone. We've got energy and all kinds of stones and fog and fireballs. Pick locks. You've got summoning huge stone blocks and thorn bushes, psychic storms. A massive quantity of stuff. Now, most of the games we look at and shut up and sit down try and avoid the idea of player elimination, the idea that you can be knocked out of the game and just have no more fun. Not so here. In Wiz-War, you can be reduced to a pile of smouldering robes on the dungeon floor.
But you're saying that like it's a good thing.
Well, every mechanic has its place. Just keep to your side. Every mechanic has its place, and here, in a game of dueling, player elimination lends the game tension.
What else do you have in there?
Don't you
Is
wish
that
you...
that looks like you're smuggling a badger.
On your turn, you can move up to 3 spaces. You can attack once, either with your fists or with a spell, but more importantly, you can cast as many other spells from your hand as you want, letting you create deadly combos. Let's say you cast a lightning bolt, you fuel it with a load of energy, and you use astral projection to let it come from wherever you want. You pick a wizard between 2 walls, this guy, you have it come from here, and that lightning bolt bounces once for each point of energy, frying this wizard like a piece of crispy bacon. The twist is, though, while you can void your whole hand at once, you only ever draw 2 cards each turn. you use all of your escape or shield spells, you don't know whether you're going to get any more.
Well, combining spells is what Epic Spell Wars is all about, and it's so much simpler than this Wiz-War nonsense. How many pages are in your Wiz-War wizard manual?
I can't. 19.
Pardon? I'm sorry?
19.
19. And how small is the wizard font?
Yeah, okay, so Wiz-War's manual isn't really a particularly good time for a game
okay.
that's
Well, Epic Spell Wars is look, this is all it is. Every player gets a hand of cards. Each card is either the start, or the middle, or the end of a magic spell. Look at these examples. You've got Rose Bottom's Prickly Power Vortex. You've got Professor Presto's Festering Testicles. Spells you've made.
Oh god, you know what? The art is awesome.
Yeah, the art is awesome, and you'll spend the first couple of games just giggling like children as you go through all the cards. But anyway, apart from whatever exciting, powerful things your spells do, you want to pay attention to their speed, because going before your opponents is kind of cool. Killing them before they get their spell off is even better. Each spell has a speed, but a great way to make them quicker is to make them shorter, cut out the middle, or maybe forgo the end, because although they'll be a bit weaker, a 2-card spell will always go before a 3-card spell. A 1-card spell is snappier still, and this really matters. So many of the spells are geared towards whatever the balance of the table is like. They attack the weakest player or the most powerful, or the guy to your right, or whatever. And if your spell takes too long to go off, then the whole dynamics, the balance of play around the table could have changed.
So you shall I cast the spell now?
Different ones because of the treasure.
Quinz's Disbelieving Stare. It's not a tactical game.
At its heart, Epic Spell Wars
is a game about hand management.
Like playing poker, you'll want to keep some cards now, maybe in reserve for what's going to come up next, and sometimes you'll be forced to play something
talking
now.
nonsense!
No,
Wiz-War is actually tactical because in addition to manoeuvring, trying to get into attack positions or trying to keep yourself out of harm's way, you've got cards that are defensive as well as aggressive. You've got to wait. If somebody flings some paltry fireball at you and you block it with a wall of earth, you're going to feel like a fool when someone else sneaks up behind you and burns your brain, causing you to discard your entire hand. When somebody throws up a wall of fire and you correctly held on to a spell that lets you flood the dungeon to extinguish it, you'll feel like a genius, while this character will feel like some half-baked street magician. Or likewise, maybe you need some health. You could use Wiz-War to eat a piece of wall to recover some health, but then when you're trapped close to death and somebody's about to murder you and you eat your way out of harm's way, you will feel like a genius. Wiz-War, in addition to being the more tactical game, is the glitzier game. Look at these gorgeous dials compared to his stupid postcards for tracking health. Look at this double-sided board, these tokens. And yeah, the art may not be as stylized, but it is really nice. It's just so overblown and toy.
It's not overblown because I've got flying testicles in my game. No, you're making it sound like clumpy Stratego, and it's not. You've got a bit of chatting, but I mean, you don't know what cards your opponent has. You don't know what's going to come up next. It's just random. There's no tactics in here. You don't know if the next spell you're going to fire off is going to win you the game, or if it'll just fizzle into nothing.
Well, that's kind of the point. Yeah. Okay. What? No, it's not as strategic as I'd like.
Well, it's not fair. That's the point.
Your game isn't fair either. But I'll tell you what. In being a bit unpredictable, Wiz-War actually does feel like a fight to the death. But that's why it's terrifying and tense. You're all grasping and stroking at every opportunity you can find.
Okay, so it's nice that you've got these 4 boards that you can endlessly rearrange like a disappointing jigsaw puzzle, but you're eliminating your players. In Epic Spell Wars, when a player goes down, when they're on the sidelines, they get to collect magic items.
Oh yeah, you've
more
got
powerful.
your dead wizard bonuses.
Makes them, makes the game more fair, and it's smaller, it's cheaper, it's more portable.
Well,
you can have more players.
I can turn into a werewolf in my game.
Right. Okay. Well, would you recommend Wiz-War?
No. Okay, so the reason to buy Wiz-War, or the reason to avoid it, is that it's what's called a beer and pretzels game. Which is to say, for all its rules and its downtime, it's actually really a game about trash talking and stuff just happening. A game where the more you try and take it seriously, the more you'll realise it's a joke. Potentially very good though if you and your friends want something that's something where who lives and dies has a greater chance of being total bunk. Something where the worst player might just
What you
win.
mean is a game where the scales of justice seesaw like a seesaw with massive fat kids on the seesaw.
Just like in your game.
No, I'd actually listen. I'd recommend.
Oh,
Epic Spell
what?
to some people. All right, to some people, because it's as light and easy as a summer breeze, and
Or a
you know,
fart.
it's a game to play on the train or with your family.
Flying testicles!
Not a game to play with your family, but it's.
I tell you what though, Fantasy Flight, the makers of this, it's been leaked that they are working on not one, but 4 expansions for this. And I'm going to be buying every single one of them.
It's been leaked. You looked it up with magic.
Yes,
What are you going to buy them
actually.
with? Wizard money that you clearly don't have.
The point is that this is a game of stuff. It's a game of glitz and it's a game of unpredictability. Therefore, like Cosmic Encounter, which we looked at back in the Christmas special, this game will grow in like some kind of wild, mad garden. The wilderness of it that you're all exploring together will become thicker.
So, now that we're done, you're going to take your costume off and your silly wizard beard.
Wizard beard. Ow!
Are you going to be like this all day? Because I actually have some work to do.
Paul, a wizard doesn't choose to be a wizard.
So I suppose that means you're not going to wizard tidy up.
Tidying up is, of course, for the novice wizards.
Because a wizard's work is never done.
Fireball!
Don't you have a wizard quest to go to in somewhere like Wizard Jakarta?
I do have a
Right.
wizard quest.
Yeah. Why don't you go now? You can go on a wizard. You can go now on away to the wizard quest on your long road of wizard.
Accio hat! Paul, you have been a good friend. I shall see you anon. Anon. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, he's about 6'2", and yeah, last seen wearing it's a dressing gown over a snuggie. Thanks, officer. Anything you can do. It's like a blanket that you put your hands through. 3 days now. If you. Bye. Martin, could I get that shredded yellow paper you have, please? Thanks.
Wizard!
Absolute. Martin, I'll call you back. Jesus!
Wizard!
What are you doing here?
A wizard never tells.
Have you been sleeping rough at my work? For days?
Well, of course. This is my wizard cave. A wizard does what he must, and from here I venture forth every night to fight crime.
Quintus, do you even know what a wizard is?
Wizard!
God's sake!
Paul?
What?
I think I need help.
I've seen this before. You have an obsession. That's what's going on.
I wish I was a wizard.
There's only one thing for it. We have to save you, and there's one way to do that.
I'm not taking the costume off.
No. We're going full wizard. Martin.
Perfect. Impossible.
Very nice.
Yes! Oh my god! He's not!
This is serious business. This is serious wizard business. Mage Knight is the game to end all wizard games. It's also the most difficult game we've ever had to review on the show, but we're going to try because we love you.
This is a game about playing wizards with a capital W. You and your friends will carve up dragons like as many roast chickens. You will walk to enormous cities and kick the front doors in. This is a game that's very clear about the fact that your character doesn't need to sleep, but the fact that they're going to get wounded, they're going to get hurt, and they'll keep on fighting anyway. But with great power comes great responsibility.
Responsibility that starts with managing your interface. This is your character card, this is you. This is your inventory of magical crystal which you'll gulp to make your spells more powerful. These tokens represent your character level. As your level increases, you dish out more tokens, and that represents more slots for more people in your army. This is your army. These are the guys you've recruited. Up here, these are your special abilities. These are unique to your character, and you'll build your character as you go along, picking different one of these every time. For example, this lets me get free magical crystals. That makes me more powerful during the day, but a little more powerful at night. This is your deck of cards. This is your character. These are the cards that you're currently holding right now. The deck of cards is the soul of your character. It's you marching, fighting, traveling, persuading, intimidating your way across the land. Looking at this, it's like sitting in the cockpit of a jet fighter. That's how it is. It's that complex, and we haven't even begun yet.
No, because where this game starts is you getting squirted out of a magical portal down here. And from there, you've got a whole beautiful countryside to explore. And as you flip these hexagons upside down, you'll find... What will you find? You'll find
monster raiding parties.
You'll find towns and monasteries, yours to pay your respects to.
You'll find deserts.
You'll find forests.
You'll find healing glades.
You'll find fortified keeps.
Huge cities.
You'll find mountains and lakes. And what you're going to do, you're going to sit behind the instruments of your jet fighter and steer your character around until you're blasting like some psychedelic caffeine-infused Gandalf. Because Mage Knight, at its heart, is a game about learning to fly, about using wicked combinations of cards to reduce some legion of men to an incandescent sneeze of dust. And when you do succeed at that, Mage Knight is as fun as anything we've ever reviewed.
But just like learning to fly, the reality of it isn't quite as romantic as the fantasy. Mage Knight has 2 manuals for a start, and the size of the font in these things is, well, can you see how small it is?
The game is a tower of legislation.
Yeah, and the stones of this tower are made up of clauses and exceptions and...
Every single hexagon on this map, every single different type of building, every single monster, all of it has its own nuance, its own rule, its own sub-clause.
All these cards, all the unique powers that you have, things that you'll have to look up and cross-reference and check again.
Every symbol on every monster must be cross-referenced with the back of this. Every card in each of these decks.
Our first games, it's no lie, we had to go through the manual twice for each thing that we were looking for.
As if we were looking for an individual leaf in a hedge maze.
And clawing my way through these manuals, trying to find a specific rule, just made me feel old.
And it made me feel frustrated. Look, we'll just talk you through how the simplest possible combat in the game works. So combat is divided into 3 phases, which are 1. Ranged combat, 2. Blocking, 3. Melee combat. So we've got our orcs here. Now first off, ranged combat. This is your opportunity to kill a monster before they even know what's going on. I've got a card here with ranged attack 3. Good, except not, because in Mage Knight, you have to do damage equal to their defense, which is this number up here. Now this says 3 defense, so you might think I can kill it, but no, because that tiny symbol next to the defense logo means physical resistance, which means I need to do double damage. We move on to blocking. Now again, you need to block all the damage or it all gets through. So I've got a card here with block 2. Okay, that's... Yeah, well, I don't have any other block cards. I have to play other cards sideways, so they each count as block 1. That's good. Now we move on to melee combat. So I can use my improvisation card. I can use my crystal to turn it into the advanced version. But then if I use rage instead, no. And I've just found out the hard way that I can't actually kill it.
Right, okay, so we...
How many do you want to take? Okay, there you go. Oh, Jesus.
Alright, that means he does double damage?
Yep.
Oh no, the fire golems don't. Oh no, they do ranged fire attack.
Right, so I've got fortified, well it's fortified anyway because it's in a city, but then physical resistance, that's a fire and ice attack, poison, critical, that's swift paralyzation. Poison, if a unit is wounded because of an attack and enemy with poison, give them 2 wound cards instead of 1. If you look there, there's all the paralyzation. When do you discard your hand in paralyzation?
Oh, if we're doing this at night, I can disintegrate and just destroy one of... I don't have the right. Alright.
You use one of the mana from the pool,
Yeah.
then
Right.
then I can use there's no more
but
black
I
mana
can-
in the pool. But the thing is I ambushed as well, so that's +2 to my move attack and then +4 to my first block
I can't.
card.
I can agilitize myself and then turn my move into attack, except I don't have any move cards.
Oh, I have a move. Have we lost?
No, we haven't lost. It's just all I've done is taken a lot of damage and nothing's happened. So it should be obvious by now why we're having difficulty reviewing Mage Knight. The game is as mad as a bag of birds.
Yeah, and what you're actually trying to do, whether it's conquering cities or cleansing dungeons, changes depending on what scenario you play. You might be playing a competitive game or a cooperative game.
Or a cooperative game in 2 teams of 2, or a solo game.
Yeah. So, what we're going to call Mage Knight then is
A
gamer's game.
If you want to play it just
Got
for
some
fun,
reference cards.
No, I don't. If you want to play it for fun with your friends and sit down, it's total toilet for that. The game takes at least 2 hours to learn. It takes probably 3 times that amount of time to actually get good at it. And
Yeah.
the early games are cross-referencing and confusion and.
And you know what? I'd want at least 4 evenings with it before I think I'd feel comfortable playing against other players in a competitive way. Otherwise, when I get scalped by somebody else, I'm just going to be miserable.
It's not that the rules are... I mean, yeah, they're complex. A lot of games are complex. It's that they're not intuitive. But we're going to say something else.
Yeah, what I'm going to say is that, let's not give you the wrong impression, because this game is masterful design. Never mind all the high-level strategic manoeuvring that you're all doing on this board. At its heart, Mage Knight is a game of
hand management. Yeah, the real challenge is presented by your deck of cards and whatever they cough up for you. Say that you wanna kick off the beards of the wizards at a local tower nearby, and then all the cards you draw are movement cards. Or you want to do anything at all, and then you draw a varied hand that has some movement and it has some combat, and how are you going to use that to make the most of it, make a real magical meal out of it?
Yeah, and of course it gets more complicated than that, because every single card has a regular version and a high-level version, a souped-up version that you can use if you spend precious crystals or harness the mana off the day-night board. And of course, there are 6 different types of mana.
Obviously. So as you study your cards, you think to yourself, well, I have one card that allows me to boost a second. Or perhaps I can play a card that allows me to collect mana to allow me to use the more powerful aspect of another card. And that way I can transform my turn from a failure into a success. And being able to play 1 card, 2 cards, as many cards as I like on their side for a +1 nudge, that allows me to succeed where I might otherwise fall down.
Yeah, basically the game is about turning your petty patter of powers into a thunderstorm of magic. And unlike, say, Dominion, which we looked at back in episode 4, what we've got here is something that lets you do combos on your turn that play into bigger combos on the strategic map. Let's say you visit a monastery and you drop cards that let you hire illusionists, and also you get the monks to train you in blood rage. Those cards go onto your deck, and when you draw them next turn, you can use them to sack the monastery
Immediately.
giving you a banner of courage, an artifact the monks were holding on to. Great!
One of the cool things about Mage Knight is anything you collect, you can immediately use the next turn. It doesn't disappear into your deck. And each day and night turn of the game sees you cycle your deck once, playing as many cards or holding as many as you like on your turn every turn. So a conservative, a slow, gentle player can outlast another player who burns through their deck so fast.
In addition to building your character in your deck, the ultra power of abilities, the bottom halves of the cards, are often tantalizingly locked away even after you've purchased them. With the case of these, you have to play them at night. You have to spend a basic mana of the spell's colour to activate them. You also have to spend a chunk of rare black mana. But the rewards! Time bending lets you burn through your hand moving and fighting, and then pick your entire hand back up and do it again. Wings of Night turn you into some horrible shamanic Batman soaring around, diving in through the windows of cities to rip at the hearts of the inhabitants. So Mage Knight might put you all in your own corner, but it's still capable of bringing the whole table together, even if it's just shared awe at somebody else's play. And yes, this is a hard world to break into, but if you get inside the ecosystem that lets you play around in, it's just unreal. So, should they buy it?
I don't know. You know me, I like to play games with almost anyone, and the thing is, I don't want my new board gaming friends to be put off by this. This is a board gamer's board game. The barrier of entry is so high that I wouldn't want new people to sit down and think that gaming is all about just, you know, looking up rules all the time and holding hands of cards to your nose with your complex plots and...
Yeah, but you and I haven't played the competitive game, which would see players bouncing off each other.
Well, that's what I want. I want more bouncing off. I want more interaction.
You know what? I don't think we have to recommend this or not, because the people at home will be watching this either with a horrified expression on their face or with an erection in their pants. And in which case, you know, they just know it's for them or not.
Yeah, that's true. The gamers will know what they love. And we haven't even talked about the production quality, which is kind of obvious. It's an incredibly good looking game. Look at it. Look at how sexy it is compared to the average reference pair. Thanks, reference pair.
Thanks, reference, but...
Oh.
Ooh, I tell you what, I am wizarded out.
Yeah, so am I.
Let's,
get on with the show. We need to contact Warren at Zap TV for the next episode. No one watches this web stuff anymore. TV, no, let me tell you, TV is this new thing. Web is old. That's very magical, be careful.
You wanna go for a curry?
Yeah, sure, that's a very good idea. Do you want to go and get the curry and bring it back?
Well, we could order it. And then, you know, because we could just be wizards for a bit longer. What's your favourite thing about being a wizard? I like the spells. I'll be wizard!
I'll be Peter Spellthruster. How do you do it? What's the wizard
lightning
voice?
bolt, wizard! Hobbit.
Lightning bolt! Soft Dumbledore thing, the soft...
Hello.
But he's sort of Northern Irish, or the actors are... No, Harry Potter!
You shall not pass! Immobilis!
Oh wow, it works on the camera.
Did that work?
We can take our costumes off now, they won't see